You know the face, right? Those iconic glasses, the sheer energy in that laugh. Paul Shaffer. He's been the ultimate sideman, hasn't he? Just his constant, really beloved presence in entertainment for, well, decades now.
Absolutely. But behind that persona, the grin and the groove, what's the real story? The untold story of a guy who basically made hip his middle name.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into his autobiography. We'll be here for the rest of our lives.
It's incredibly candid, actually.
Yeah, it really is. And our mission here is to unpack that journey. You know, this Canadian kid, this prodigy who just moved so easily between rock, jazz, comedy, even his faith.
All while holding on to what he calls his divided soul. That's such a fascinating phrase.
It is that mix of his sort of disciplined Orthodox Jewish roots and this just unstoppable rock and roll spirit.
So we've pulled out the key moments, the best stories from his own reflections, expect some surprising facts, some genuinely funny anecdotes.
Oh, definitely. And really just an exploration that should give you a whole new appreciation for Paul Shaffer. Not just what he did, but, you know, how he became this cultural force.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning. His childhood. Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada.
Right up there at the northern end of Highway 61.
And picture this. His Orthodox Jewish upbringing, Shirei Shamayim Synagogue, and at the same time, this growing obsession, almost a defiance, with rock and roll.
He actually told his mom, "Mom, it's rock and roll," like a declaration. He loved groups like the Ronettes, the Four Seasons.
Yeah, and he was channeling his classical piano skills into learning all those top 10 hits.
And this early split, this dichotomy, it wasn't just a footnote. It was like the core tension that shaped his whole artistic life, wouldn't you say?
I think so. He saw Dylan's Highway 61 revisited as his personal Talmud to the Torah, which is amazing.
It is. It suggests he wasn't, rejecting his spiritual side. He was finding a parallel truth in this new music, something just as deep and resonant.
Shows a mind always looking for depth.
Right.
Whether it's in scripture or a rock album.
Exactly. His spiritual and musical sides were tangled up right from the get-go.
And even as a kid, wow, he was competitive. He tells this story about his first musical rival, Marvin Slobodski.
Oh, yeah, the piano battle.
Right. Marvin was this child prodigy, plays Mozart like a dream, then busts out this flashy piece called Jealousy.
Yeah.
And just owns the room.
And little Paul is watching this thinking, okay, I need to respond.
So what does he do? He works out the theme from Exodus by ear, that majestic, powerful theme.
Yeah.
What does that choice tell you?
Well, it shows he wasn't just about technique. Even then, he was pouring everything into it. Emotion.
Yeah.
He saw Exodus as this personal symbol of victory, way beyond just, religious heritage. He said he channeled every ounce of every emotion felt by every Jew since Father Abraham got the party started.
That's quite a quote.
It is.
Yeah.
It's that mix, right? The rigorous training meeting this raw, personal feeling that defined his whole career.
And his home life sounds like it was just buzzing with this kind of energy, too. His parents, Bernard and Shirley.
Right. His dad, the barrister, big jazz fan. His mom, the antique collector, more dignified, perhaps.
But they threw these beatnik parties. Paul's on bongos, his dad's doing Al Jolson impressions. Mammy, Swanee.
Fueled by Johnny Walker Red, as the story goes.
It paints this picture of a home that was sophisticated but also knew how to party,
Exactly. And that wasn't just for kicks. It gave him this deep love for sophisticated entertainment, but also that vibrant kind of hip party culture.
His parents were pretty hip themselves in their own way.
Totally. And you can see how that influenced his later philosophy, the later the hipper. He got that early on that magic often happens late at night when things get loose and spontaneous.
Which leads perfectly into that Vegas trip story. Young Paul, just thrilled to be here.
Attending Juliet Prowse's Late Show, 1 a.m. start time.
Can you imagine? And he's practically falling out of his seat, convinced he sees Sinatra, Buddy Hackett, Jackie Gleason.
Starstruck. And then the absolute kicker, he accidentally wrecks the opening comics act, Jackie Gale.
Oh, it's brilliant. Gale's doing a bit, asks Paul in the audience how many TVs he has. Paul, trying to be helpful, just deadpans. One.
Kills the whole setup. And Paul's apparently glowing afterwards, thinking he was part of the show.
I was in show business. Amazing.
But it makes you think, doesn't it? How experiences like that, or like watching his dad explain Benny Goodman's jam sessions, how they shaped his ability to just react, to improvise.
Yeah, the jazz sensibility. Listening, reacting.
His father explained it from watching Benny Goodman on Ed Sullivan. That principle got baked in early. Even that misguided interjection with Jackie Gale shows he had an instinct for the rhythm of performance. Maybe not the boundaries yet, but the rhythm.
And alongside the fun, there were these really formative moments of principle, too, like that family trip to the Bahamas.
Oh, that's a powerful story.
His dad sees vacationers leaving the pool when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gets in. And his dad just says, nope, we're checking out.
I'm not staying anywhere. The guests display this kind of racist behavior. Just like that. Immediate action.
Must have made a huge impression on Paul.
Absolutely. It wasn't just about music and being cool. It was about integrity, having a moral compass. That kind of backbone, learned from his father, probably served him incredibly well later in showbiz. Some lines you just don't cross.
So, moving into his professional life, it wasn't exactly a straight line, was it? He kind of detoured into musical theater first.
Right. After some smaller gigs, he lands the musical director job for Godspell, the rock musical.
Which was a surprise for him. He was apparently worried about the Christian theme.
Only to find out Victor Garber, who's Jewish, was cast as Jesus. Paul called it like, an angel had led me to this great gig.
And Godspell was a huge deal then.
Oh, absolutely crucial for him. It was part of this cutting-edge trend, the rock musical changing Broadway. For Paul, it was a massive step up from just playing covers or, niche jazz.
He could finally blend everything together.
Exactly. Bring that rock energy into a narrative, theatrical space. His different passions started to really connect there.
And the people he met there? Wow. Gilda Radner, Marty Short, Eugene Levy, a whole generation of Canadian comedy icons.
Incredible talent pool. He talks about Gilda's childlike charm, Marty Short doing this amazing Sinatra-styled version of My Funny Valentine.
Eugene Levy with his Perry Como cool take on Aquarius.
And these weren't just colleagues. They became lifelong friends, the bedrock for so much creativity later on. They even had Friday night services at their shared house, their own Comedy Central.
It sounds like Marty Short especially was more than just a friend.
Definitely. Paul describes him almost as a life coach. Taught him about irony, about living funny, even turning disappointments into comedy.
Which really shaped Paul's whole approach to entertaining, didn't it?
Yeah, it made it okay for this rock and roll kid, as Paul put it, to embrace that sophisticated Sinatra-esque vibe too. It broadened his definition of hip.
So, with that experience, his reputation growing, the next logical step, I guess, was Saturday Night Live.
The big leagues of live comedy and music, and the stories from that time are wild, watching Bob Dylan rehearse.
Noticing Dylan's wearing this huge cross.
And then Dylan comes up to Paul, not asking about music, but wanting an intro to Larry Bud Melman.
Surreal.
Totally. And then you also hear about Dylan around that same time having returned to Orthodox Judaism and refusing to rehearse or play on the Sabbath.
Which must have caused Paul some headaches, trying to schedule things. A bit of stew, as he put it.
It really underscores that constant tension, right? Between deep personal faith and the nonstop demands of show business.
Like Sandy Koufax not playing on Yom Kippur, which Paul admired.
Exactly. Or that funny story Paul tells about the trumpeter Alan Rubin deliberately going to Caesar's retreat on Yom Kippur Eve.
Yeah, make sure I had something to atone for. Classic musician humor.
It's that balancing act. Staying true to yourself while navigating the industry.
And speaking of SNL phenomena, you absolutely have to talk about the Blues Brothers.
Oh man, from a sketch to a national sensation, millions of records, sold out arenas. It was massive.
Now the stories, like Sweet Sweet Connie the groupie.
The legendary groupie who knew intricate details from Paul's failed sitcom Year at the Top.
A show that barely ran, but she knew every episode. Paul called her a specialist, with exceptional attention to detail.
That just captures the madness of that whole Blues Brothers whirlwind. And yes, some blues purists initially grumbled.
Sure.
But guys like Ray Charles totally got it. He basically said, God bless him, it helps guys like me get work.
That's huge validation.
It really showed how passion, even in a tribute act, could bring a whole genre to a massive new audience. The power of pop culture, really.
But then came a real test for Paul, a classic divided soul moment.
The movie choice.
Yeah. Pulling out of the Blues Brothers movie to help Gilda Radner with her show, Gilda Live. That must have been incredibly tough.
He actually called his lawyer to undo the movie deal, said, I can't leave Gilda with a half-completed record.
And Lorne Michaels wasn't too pleased, apparently. Gave him that slightly cutting comment about looking sad in Gilda's show.
You can just feel the conflict there, can't you? Huge movie opportunity, the Blues Brothers thing he helped build, versus loyalty to Gilda, this close friend needing him.
It really shows that divided soul in action. ambition versus loyalty.
And his choice says a lot, prioritizing that personal connection, that artistic integrity with a friend over the straightforward career move. For Paul, sometimes the human element just weighed more.
Which maybe, in a way, set the stage for his next big thing, meeting David Letterman.
The partnership that defined late night for decades. Musical director for the world's most dangerous band.
And their first meeting ended with Letterman saying, "I've always seen myself as Wayne Cochran anyway."
The white James Brown. Paul said it was about the hippest thing I'd ever heard a talk show host say. Instant connection.
You can see why it worked. Dave's vision for the show was different. Edgier, cooler than Carson.
Totally. It gave Paul the perfect space to unleash everything. The rock, the soul, the comedy timing. The band wasn't just background. They were part of the comedy.
He was like Dave's musical co-conspirator.
Absolutely. And the collaborations that happened on that show, legendary. The stories with James Brown, Eric Clapton, just incredible.
James Brown telling Paul he handled the pressure of the time well, turns on a dime. That's high praise from the godfather of soul.
Huge praise. And learning about the whole cape ritual coming from Gorgeous George, the wrestler.
Right.
Amazing details.
And then the interactions with Eric Clapton during the blues jams. A bit tense sometimes.
Well, you had Clapton, the purist, saying, "This is the blues, just let it develop." Very organic.
While Paul's thinking, we're on live TV, I need a roadmap.
Exactly. It shows Paul's genius, though. His versatility, his showmanship. He could hang with these giants, respect their art, but also gently guide it for television.
Navigating that tightrope between authentic blues improv and the demands of a live broadcast, that takes skill.
Massive skill.
Yeah.
Mastery of the art and the craft.
And while all this showbiz madness is happening, he's also building a family. He met his wife, Kathy Vasapoli, after she wrote him a fan letter.
A letter that, bizarrely, Hugh Hefner played a part in connecting them.
It's always connected, isn't it? And he talks about his kids, Victoria and Will, and trying to balance it all, that divided soul again.
Yeah, one foot in Broadway glitz, the other in suburban Westchester. Parent conferences, worrying about crabgrass.
It brings up that question of sustainability, right? How do you maintain a creative life at that level?
And his story suggests that grounding is key. Family, tradition. Remember, he insisted Kathy convert to Judaism before they married. That connection to something stable, something normal, probably kept him sane.
So the divided soul here isn't conflict. Maybe it's balance.
I think that's a great way to put it. It provides richness, keeps you tethered.
Okay, let's wrap up with a couple of those truly classic later anecdotes. They show his range so well. First, it's Raining Men.
He co-wrote it with Paul Jabara.
And Donna Summer turned it down flat. Called it blasphemous after she'd become born again.
And its debut performance, a gay pride day in Central Park, where it bombed. People booed and hissed.
Hard to believe now, given it's such an anthem.
It's a perfect example of a song finding its audience eventually, isn't it? Maybe ahead of its time for some, but it found its cultural moment. Art doesn't always land immediately.
Definitely not. And then the infamous Grinch Who Ruined Christmas incident.
Oh, with Darlene Love. During a live rehearsal for Letterman's Christmas show.
Paul gets frustrated, his mic is accidentally left on, and he lets loose with some colorful language.
Like a sailor, as the New York Post gleefully reported.
It just captures that high-wire act of live TV, doesn't it? Even the pros have moments where the pressure cooker boils over.
Exactly. Human moments. And the media loves those.
Which brings us, kind of full circle, to that ultimate hometown honor, Paul Shaffer Drive in Thunder Bay.
Wonderful moment. And Dave Letterman's reaction on the show.
Pure mock outrage. I want the entire interstate beltway around Indianapolis.
Nothing, Dave. But it shows how much Paul meant, how integrated he became into the culture while still being that kid from Thunder Bay.
So when we boil it all down, what have we learned about Paul Shaffer? This Canadian icon, this quintessential New Yorker.
He's just a guy with incredible range, isn't he? Deep musical knowledge, razor-sharp comedy instincts, guided by this unique vision.
That hipness he got from his parents, but filtered through his own integrity, his own spiritual and artistic blend.
Yeah, and his story really drives home that idea. Embracing your divided soul, all those seemingly contradictory parts of you, the faith and the funk, the discipline and the chaos.
That's not a weakness. It can be a source of incredible strength.
Absolutely. It can lead not just to success, but to a really rich, authentic life. He proved you don't have to pick one lane. You can weave it all together.
Which leaves us with a thought for you, the listener. What hidden divided souls might be lurking in your life?
Yeah, what passions or parts of your background feel like they don't quite fit together?
And what could happen, what strengths or insights might emerge if you dared to embrace them fully, just like Paul Shaffer did.